Well, hey, everybody. This is Real Estate Matters. For 11 years, the voice of real estate in Flagler County and Palm Coast. Welcome to the quiet side of Florida. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of GoToby.com, and I'm a contributor to the Palm Coast Observer and a Florida licensed realtor with Grand Living Realty. Co-host Anna Maria Long is on the phone today. She's homesick with sick kids. Hello, Anna Maria.
Yes, I am. Hi. Trying to keep a safe distance from everybody else.
Well, yeah, stay 6 feet back from your phone, please.
I'll try.
I'm sure you're contagious.
Definitely.
Well, before we get into the meat of the show, I want to say thanks to our sponsors. Our lead sponsor is Veranda Bay. They're a private developing community of lots and luxury homes on the Intercoastal Waterway with a Flagler Beach address. They feature custom homes by Olson Homes, AR Homes by Arthur Ruttenberg, ICI Homes, and Hulbert Homes. And 2 new sections have just opened up for Toll Brothers and Dreamfinders. And you can find out more about that beautiful community by going to their website, verandabay.com. It's a beautiful place. We're also sponsored by the Flagler County Home Builders Association. That's where Anna Maria works. And by Hammock Community Church. That's where you find me Sunday mornings at the 11 o'clock service. It's a little church in the woods of the hammock, small enough to know you, large enough to serve you. It's a 1.5 miles north of the toll bridge. Try it out if you're looking for a church that has a real choir instead of a band. So let's get into December. So we're recording this because of the holidays. We're recording earlier than usual on Tuesday. So this is the 23rd. You will be hearing us on the 27th. So these numbers are as of today. So far this month in December, 199 single-family Flagler County homes have been reported for sale through the Flagler County MLS. The median price of those homes is $389,900. Now that compares to last year in December when a total of 230 homes were reported selling at $355,000. And at the rate we're going, I'm convinced that we'll exceed that 230 number this year. We've already exceeded the total sales volume number from last December. Days on market this December, 73. And the percentage of the selling price of percentage of list price, 97%. We look at the both ends of the market each week. The lower end, we count those homes that are $250,000 or below. So far this December, 7 homes have sold in that category, 2 of them for cash. Days on market, 16. And then there were 9 sold last December, 8 for cash. So our cash percentage is a little bit lower this year than last year. The percent to list, 91%. So at the bottom of the market, we're seeing more discounting. At the top end, this is unbelievable. 14 homes have sold for $1 million or more, 13 of them for cash. Days on market, 15. Usually days on market for the high end of the market is substantially higher than the general market.
We just keep seeing that trend continue here, the cash heavy and quick $1 million plus home sales.
Now, last December, a total of 9 homes sold over $1 million. The percent to list this year is 96%. So the high-end market is selling at a higher percentage of lists than the low end of the market. There are 1,179 homes listed through the MLS. Homes in the pending file, that's homes that are already under contract but have yet to close, 293. And that's about 5.1 months of inventory. So for those people who are saying we're flooded with inventory and homes, too many homes on the market, they're wrong.
Toby said it. You can put it in the Bible. Well, it's crazy. You're right, though.
Some people just shouldn't be allowed within 10 feet of a number.
Or a computer.
Or a computer. Yeah, computer keyboard. The median price of the homes in the pending file is $375,000. That's right on track for where we've been over the last several months. The Gindex is down to 4. The Gindex, that's just an index that I point out every week. It's a measurement that I invented several years ago in honor of Bobby Ginn. But it's the ratio of homes on the listing category to those in the pending category. So anyway, my general observation as we come towards the end of the year, because December is often an odd month in housing because year-end financial positioning decisions prevail. People want to do something in December for a tax reason or homestead exemption reason or for whatever other reason, reasons that don't exist in the other 11 months. But the high end of the market is very strong and cash is king. And we've already exceeded, as I said, last December's total sales volume. The last 4 months of this year are substantially better for the Flagler housing market compared to both the first 8 months of this year and to the same 4 months last year. So I think some
Which
of the
is an anomaly.
It is. It's because this is those 4 months are among the 6 months that are the slowest sales generally each year. And that's a measurement I've been watching for 20 years, so pretty solid number. And the third quarter GDP growth was just announced today, and it was a surprising 4.3%, which is great. So for 2026, it's going to be fueled by increases in tax refunds and also reduced withholding tax because no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. So I think I feel stronger about next year than I did just a week ago.
Well, I'll be looking forward to both increased tax refunds and I don't qualify for those particular reduced withholdings, but they pick up on anything else, so I'll take it.
I had a conversation just this morning with a local broker who said that he's also very positive on the market and said that they noticed things really picked up substantially in September and October.
Which again, not what they expected. I'm sure no broker went into those months thinking, "Oh boy, this is going to be great."
Exactly, and I'm sure the builders felt the same way.
100%. Definitely did not feel that it positive, but as we talked about last week, well, I guess listeners can go back to last week's show for the full picture, but with next year being a midterm election year, I think that will really impact our economic outlook.
Well, the administration is going to try their hardest to make the economy look very strong and be very positive. So
which will be good for us as individuals.
Sure. Now I mentioned hinted last week what we were going to talk about this week when I said that Flagler County, there's a recent report just came out, 2025, how Florida counties compare. And it's from the Florida Tax Watch, sponsored by the North Florida Land Trust. And this 2025, how Florida counties compare, what it does is it puts Florida's counties side by side on over 60 different metrics, including spending, revenue, usage fees, property values, millage rates, employment, population, unemployment, and lots more. And these are real numbers. So
Yes.
you can have a lot of fun with them with your friends by being right while they're wrong. So you can impress your friends, and you can have some good fact-checking information to contest posts on the social media platforms.
Or just good knowledge in your head for when local policymakers are saying that we are the lowest in impact fees, the lowest in this or that. Well, that may not actually be true, and this document will give you that data to have readily available. You can bookmark it.
Well, one of the things that impressed me going through these slides, and by the way, by the time you hear this podcast, there will be an article on Toby that'll give a thorough analysis of this report, and you'll be able to see the full report there as well. And so you can print it out, fold it up, and take it to your next cocktail party.
You might need a binder.
you can be the new real estate guru for Flagler County. But one of the things that struck me was the variety, the variation from county to county. Flagler County might be among the very highest on impact fees, but they would be lowest. They were one of the lowest on building fees, building and permitting fees, which I thought that was odd.
Not really, because that permitting can only pay for itself, essentially. It should only be cost recovery.
Mm-hmm.
One should really have nothing to do with the other.
Mm-hmm. That's true. The building fees cover actual costs of running the building department.
Right, where the impact fees are covering whatever's on the current wish list and whatever the fee consultant said it would cost, not on actual data. Well, at least here.
Right.
That's not how it should be, but that's how it is.
The key to what you just said is what the consultants said it should be.
Exactly. If the counties are running it correctly, then those costs would be less.
Well, no impact fee consultant ever got rehired because they recommended a reduction in fees. It's kind of a game that they play.
I guess whenever legislation comes across controlling them, they'll have a different market to play in.
Well, one thing I noticed was that there's a great variety from county to county on how they collect their revenue, but they all collect revenue. But they have so many different pots.
Buckets.
And if they don't get it on impact fees, they get it on other fees, or they get it on property taxes, or they get it on usage fees, or whatever. And I did notice that in almost every case, the counties there's one of the slides in this report shows the revenue, or the total revenue for the entire county and all the municipalities within the county. Total revenue growth over the last 11 years. And then it compares it to what it would have been if it just grew by population, as indexed by population, and the CPI, or inflation adjusted number, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And in almost every single county, with a few exceptions, the government revenue grew at a much faster rate than the indexed population.
Yes. I just pulled that one up. So if I remember what you were talking about, I pulled it up. Yeah, 100% correct.
So,
Yeah, and seeing all these different like buckets, if you will, which are essentially different pages on this document, really kind of opens up your eyes to when we hear our local municipalities talking about different ways to raise funds and within their government besides just X, Y, or Z that they're already doing. This really just shows us all the different mechanisms that there are that spreads it out.
but government is expanding faster than the general economy. That's just a truism, I guess. So let's look at again. I said there are over 60 metrics in this study, and you really should.
Almost as many counties.
Right, 67 counties, and that's one thing you will know after by the time you finish reading this study. That excuse me, we got to take a break. He waved the sign twice, and I just finally saw it.
Sorry, I wasn't there to point it out to you. All right, we'll see you soon.
You're supposed to be here to watch for the signs.
I know. I'm sorry. All right, we'll catch you guys in a few minutes then.
Okay. Well, thanks for staying with us. Welcome back to the second half of Real Estate Matters, sponsored by Veranda Bay, a beautiful community in Flagler Beach, or at least with a Flagler Beach address. They may be annexing in soon. But we're talking about a study that came out that compares the Flagler, all 67 counties in Florida, side by side on all kinds of different very interesting metrics: population, government expenses, government revenues, categories of revenue, categories of expenses, impact fees, and even more. So let's just, for today's show, I made notes of just a handful of some of these metric categories. And I thought we'd go through. If you want to see the whole report, and you should, go to gotoby.com and you'll find it. It's an article I'll be posting before Saturday. So let's look at, here's one that everybody should be interested in: per capita total property tax levies. Now, normally when you see these numbers, you'll see population numbers and you'll see revenue numbers comparing county to county, but you don't see them put together. And you really don't understand how they relate until you see them together. So this is per capita.
Toby, real quick, what does the per capita, what does that mean? Because we see that in every single report. So like layman's terms, someone who's looking at this kind of information for the first time in their life, what does that mean?
Okay, per capita means per individual in the population. So if you have 100,000 people in the county,
multiply that out by 100,000.
You divide the total budget by 100,000, and you get a per capita number. So here's how Flagler compares to the rest of Florida, or the statewide as a whole. Flagler County per capita, $2,177. Statewide, it's $2,398. So,
and that puts Flagler at number 20th in the counties. So there's a few counties in between. The statewide number sits between numbers 16 and 17, which are Lee County and Manatee County.
Okay. Then per capita county property tax levies. Flagler County, this is per capita now, not per household or per piece of property. This is per capita, so it relates directly to the population. Flagler County, it's $998. Statewide, it's $942. So again, Flagler's a little bit on the high side of the overall. And of course, overall,
That,
it includes South Florida, and it also includes the Panhandle and some of our really rural interior counties.
yeah, the number one on that one is Martin County, followed by Monroe. On the previous, which is total property tax, is Monroe at number one. So maybe don't live there. And on the per capita property tax levies, Flagler sits at number 17, and the statewide number sits between 19 and 20, which are Hillsborough and Osceola.
Mm-hmm. Per capita municipal government property tax. The municipal means for Flagler County, that would be the combination of Beverly Beach, Flagler Beach, Bunnell, Marineland, and Palm Coast. But for Flagler County cities, it's $380 statewide, $377. So we're right in the middle of the bunch there, at least from an
However, we
average.
are all the way up at number 7 out of the 67 counties, even though, yes, the data puts us there. The lowest at number 67 is $6.15, and the highest is Broward at $893. Our neighbor Volusia is $452, and our other neighbor is number 39 at just $91. So very interesting.
Yeah, let's look at per capita school district property tax levies. Flagler County 735, statewide 933. So we're well below the state average.
Yes, that puts us at number 24 between Brevard and Duval. So what's interesting about that to me is that Brevard and Duval are so much larger than us. Are the statewide numbers that's between numbers 17 and 18, which are St. John's and Bay. Walton and Monroe are sitting at numbers 1 and 2. Again, glad we're not there. The lowest counties are Holmes and then Union, which are $147 at Union. So, I mean, we go from the top of it is $2,432 to the bottom is $147. So that's where we get that statewide average of $933. You have two real extremes.
Well, we're getting a hint of why we use median price when we talk about home sales instead of average price.
Sure are.
Because when you get a couple of big counties like you have in South Florida, it really throws the average number up quite a bit. Now here we're getting into the adjusted by population and inflation category, property tax growth versus the population and inflation adjusted number. For Flagler County, property tax growth up 119.5%. And if it had risen just as adjusted for population and inflation, it would have been only 78.8%. So I don't know how we ranked in the state. You've got that number, and I don't. But the statewide revenue went up 108.1%. Again, versus the adjusted rate would have been 54.9%. And all of the counties are in that same. The picture looks the same, that government is growing faster than any other sector in the economy. So growth in property taxes for the 59 largest Florida cities. Palm Coast grew 152.9%. Statewide, all cities combined averaged 135.3%.
So that's just Flagler County at number 15 in their tax growth versus population inflation. And statewide, the average sits between 20 and 21. To note, though, in this category is one of the times that we see some counties coming in within a tie with others. For example, number 16 is tied with Sumter and Hillsborough. So I don't know how you want to, that could push your statewide number to 21 and 22, or you can keep it there depending on how you look at it. It's currently sitting between 20 and 21 on this chart, but we are above that average. We're sitting at number 15.
Now,
Once again, that Walton County, man, sitting at number 1.
the percent. This to me. This was really interesting. The percent of the total just value. Just value is an appraiser office value, and so they call it the just or just market value. But the percentage of the total just value that is taxable. So this relates to homesteading and age exemptions, Save Our Homes exemptions. Flagler County, 56.4% of the overall property value is taxable. Statewide, it's 62%. So you wonder why is Flagler County lower? Because we have more of a retirement base where people have, it's not a second home market so much. And so it hints to our demographics.
It sure does. And I apologize, I'm not finding that particular page on here quickly. I did find the just value in terms of, here's the percent-wise. I found the dollar amount. So that puts us, the percentage-wise, that puts us number... Where are you, Flagler? So what did you say we were? 60...
56.4.
56.4. We're at number 34, and statewide sits between 18 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
And then in terms of dollars, the statewide number is 231,579, which sits between 20 and 21, and Flagler is at 25 at just 204,363. And now, to that end, because it is what's taxable, right, as you said, we've been talking about Monroe and Walton a little bit being at the top and saying, oh gosh, those places get taxed a lot. Well, their per capita just value, Monroe is sitting again at number 1, but their just value is $864,980. And Union, which has been sitting at the bottom of the majority of these charts, is at $71,774. So without, side-by-siding every single one of these charts, we can see at least at the very high and the very low ends that these match up, quite fairly with their taxable value on the property taxes on the just value with the other collectible fees.
Now, we've had a lot of discussion politically and social media-wise recently about our water and sewer rates and our refuse rates and stormwater rates, just the utility bills being high and going higher, but the per capita county and municipal charges for services was another metric. And Flagler County, $1,293. Statewide, it's $1,509. So Flagler's below the statewide average, even though we are high and are growing. So it's not just our problem. It seems to be everybody's problem.
Yeah, that's true. We are not alone in our problems.
No, we're not.
It doesn't necessarily make anyone feel better or make our bills easier to pay, but the problem seems to be spread. And it is harder when, you might have a neighbor, just a municipality over who's paying less. But that's what happens also when we get averages from a municipality or from a county.
Now, there are a couple other I want to be sure to cover here. Again, this is not the full list, but the total per capita local option tourism development tax revenue, because we think of ourselves as a tourist destination. but on a per capita basis, we collect $41 per capita annually. Statewide, it's $90. So
less than half
we're
of what the
less than
statewide is.
half. Yeah, so we're not, of course, we're competing with South Florida, and of course,
And Central.
and Central, yeah, certainly.
The big Mickey Mouse and roller
Orlando,
coasters.
and then the Tampa market too. And the other one I want to be sure to cover is we have a lot of people argue about density here. We're getting too dense. The population density, and this is persons per square mile. And Flagler County, the population density is 290. Florida wide, it's 445. So we're not as dense as we think we are, unless we're talking about maybe IQ or something.
I saw that dad joke coming a mile away.
So we're getting to the end. We got about a minute and a half. Anna Marie, do you have any other further thoughts?
I would just really encourage everyone to take a look at this. I mean, even if you don't do an in-depth read, and if you could just spend, 7 to 10 minutes scrolling this, I think it was such a interesting comparison.
Yeah,
so definitely go to gotoby.com and go to the article, and click on the link to get to this article, to get to this document, because it's such an eye-opener.
Yeah, it sure is. And check out the new map, too.
Absolutely. I use that at least once a week still.
Okay, well.
So on that note, we want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. We hope I guess it's airing after, so we hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, and remind you that video podcasts of Real Estate Matters are now available on gotoby.com. Click on podcasts on the top navigation bar. The show notes are included, so you can see everything that we don't get to on the show. And if you have a question or a suggestion for Real Estate Matters or for gotoby.com,
just give me a call or an email, 386-931-7124, and Toby at gotoby.com. So thanks for being with us, and hope you have a Happy New Year and a Happy Christmas. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show.